Welcome to episode 5. We have got Christian Frierson with us, and today we're going to talk about his product, the Designated Puller. Christian was nice enough to invite us over to his lodge in Louisville, Arkansas, and so Christian, we appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got a nice place here.
Appreciate you all showing up.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good show.
I think so too. So I showed up a little bit before these guys. Yeah. You and I stepped out back and watched quite a few ducks fly around for a second.
Yeah, they're sitting out there on the refuge.
That was the real show, huh?
That was the real show.
Yeah, so they're fun to watch. Get a cold beer and sit on the front porch and hear them quack.
That's right. And so
fun.
I was lucky enough to see them, and we sat out there and watched them for a little while, and then these guys showed up, and we got everything set up, and we're ready to rock and roll. And so we appreciate Christian for not only doing an episode with us tonight, but for being a sponsor here on our first season of The Blind. And Christian and I just kind of got to know each other, about a year or so ago, and we were hunting.
Yeah.
May have even been longer than that. I can't remember when it was, when Garrett and I were just hunting right across the canal here.
It's funny because my uncle hunts across the bayou. Yeah. You were in his pot.
Yeah, he was too.
And he was telling me, man, this Brian Bolt, man, he's a good hunter. This guy's a good hunter.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far.
I don't know if Christian's lying for the camera or not, but I appreciate that.
I'm telling the truth. That's what he was bragging about you.
We appreciated hunting with him. We only got to hunt with him a couple times. He only came a few times that year.
Yeah, he's busy doing other things.
Yeah, but we sure do appreciate, and we're going to get into your product here in just a minute because it's a product that Garrett and I have seen for a few years. We've got the opportunity to use them this year. We love them. It makes duck hunting easier.
Yeah, I tell everybody I'm glad I'm not the designated puller anymore.
Yeah, that's funny. That's kind of how we were thinking about a name for this product. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to call it? My dad was like, you got the designated hitter in baseball. Yeah. How about we call it the designated puller? And it's something that you're never going to leave at home and you need.
That's right.
So it kind of works out.
That is right. And so we mentioned that we're not in the studio as normal, even though we do appreciate Lyle Real Estate for being our studio sponsor. So tonight we've just got our Lyle Real Estate set up tonight. That's right. But we appreciate them for being one of our sponsors for our studio each and every week for this season. But the lodge here. Tell us how it all came about, how long you've had it, and just kind of where all this started at.
All right, the lodge. So we've been hunting up here since I was a little boy, just all in these bottoms.
So not this property, but the general area.
Right, general area. And so, we had moved around different leases, been kicked off here and there, and my dad finally was like, I got to find a place. I got to find somewhere. And 2009, we bought this property. We hunted it the first year. We bought it right before the season. And we had some pretty good hunts just sitting on 5-gallon buckets on a levee because there were no pits, no blinds. And had some good enough hunts that we were convinced that we need to build a camp here. And, this is where we're going to be, and this is where we're going to be hunting for the future. We knew it needed a lot of work, but, that's what we were going to do. So built the camp, broke ground on that, but we also broke ground out where the most important place is out where the ducks are. Yeah. And that was building levees, putting in control structures, drilling wells. I mean, we went all in. Well,
and that's what makes this place so cool. I dove hunt down this road. And so I've driven by here a lot of times before I actually saw the place. I could see it from the road. But I remember when it was being built, and I've actually got a story about that we'll talk about later. But
I got the locals. The locals will drive by, and I'm like, I got a place down there on County Road 5. They go, you talking about the lodge?
Yeah.
So I guess it's the lodge.
Well, I actually used to sell insurance in Lafayette County. Yeah. And I actually stopped by, and the gate was locked one day. It was back when y'all first built it, and I actually put my business card with a little note saying, hey, I'm a duck hunter or whatever. I'd love to handle the insurance for y'all here on this property. And Garrett, they never called me.
I think I remember Brian calling me and saying, man, there's this place on County Road 5. You need to drive down there.
I bet you my dad, he didn't even get to the insurance part. He got to the part, duck hunter, and he was like,
threw it in the trash. But the cool thing about this place
is a story.
Is that you didn't buy it turnkey.
No.
I mean, anybody can go out, and no offense to anybody watching that went out and bought a turnkey place because – Garrett and I wish we had one, but you bought the place and it's not very good. And you guys, I mean, you turned it from rags to riches, I guess. I mean, you completely changed the whole place.
No, we did, and it was luck. It was luck. I mean, I know my dad came up here and looked at it with my uncle, and my uncle told him, he goes, "If you don't buy this place, I am." And it was just because he had that eye for it, and the potential that it had, and it did. It needed a ton of work. I mean, you couldn't flood the woods. You couldn't. I mean, yeah, you could flood the rice fields, and that's how it started. It was all just rice field hunting. And, people always ask that question, where did you find that secret special place? And it was really built. It was created. You know, one thing we got lucky with was the location. Mm-hmm. You know, with duck hunting, location is key. Yeah. You know, you got to be somewhere where ducks are flying over you. And if ducks are flying over you, you can build a place. So that's we got lucky with that.
Yeah.
But the habitat was there. It just needed to be managed properly. Yeah. So those are kind of the things that we've been working on now for 13 years. Yeah. And it has really come full circle. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I think about your place is interesting is, you know, Brian got to hunt some private places growing up. But when we started hunting together, we cut our teeth on public land. And for me hunting, when we go out and we find a spot and we're successful, there's something special about having a good hunt on public land. But at the same time, for you to get a place that wasn't already a turnkey place and to make it into what you want it to be, I think that's something really special too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you've got that debate between public and private. I've hunted public land. I hunted David Donaldson for years. I mean, I'd drive 8 hours to try to go shoot mallard ducks in the woods. That's how desperate we were. And we were just boys from Louisiana, got in with some friends. Coach McBride actually got us up there on that cabin with them on the Black River. And I mean, we would drive that far to shoot ducks. And our dream was always to own our own place. And, you know, private lands are really important for the public lands because those guys are out there providing all that food for the ducks. Yeah. I mean, it's really important. I mean, there's not a lot of public land around here, but in lots of parts of the state, you know, there are, and they're very, very important. And those guys put a ton of effort in. I mean, I'm up here at least once a week throughout the entire year, whether that's checking pumps, planting food plots. It could just be mowing levees, simple things like that. I mean, we just go above and beyond.
And I'm sure it's fulfilling when you have that hunt and you kill those ducks that you put all this work in and it's paying off.
Oh my gosh. To me, it's not even about killing them. I like to see as many ducks on our farm when the season starts to when it ends. Yeah. Because it's more than just hunting. Okay, it's great when I have buddies come in and all my family here and we're hunting and shooting ducks and everybody's high-fiving. That's great, but just watching all the waterfowl is just awesome. And what we've built here and created, I mean, there's nothing better. Yeah. There's really nothing better.
It's every duck hunter's dream.
That's right. But it's that stigma that Garrett kind of talks about between private land and public land. Your farm really doesn't fall into that because it's more of the people that go out and buy the turnkey places to where they just walk in, they buy it, they show up, they hunt, and they kill ducks. Right. And, and it kind of puts it's kind of that to where, well, you really didn't do anything for it and you're killing all these ducks. But your story's not like that. No. I mean, you guys have worked really hard. Really hard. I've been privileged enough, just like the conversations we had. I mean, I just like talking about it with you. Because when I got here and me and you walked out back, I mean, it was just like we talked about before we went live just a minute ago. It's just a story about everything. There's
so many stories with this farm. I mean, we could go on for hours talking about duck hunting stories. And I mean, it's the passion and love that me and my dad have for this place. I mean, we truly love it, and it fits perfect with what I do. I farm at home. I've started farming up here. But it was always I saw it as just one farm together. Yeah. Whether this was my north farm, that's my south farm. Like, it requires just as much attention as that farm down there requires. Yeah. And, there's a lot of people that, when duck season rolls around and, that maybe they're not having so much success and, they're wondering, what are they doing over there? Well, we work hard at it. Like, we really work hard at it. It's an all year round thing. You know, if it's January 31st rolls by, season's over, I'm really not picking up the golf clubs. I tell a funny joke with my wife. You know, I said, I'm not a golfer. All my buddies golf. I said, I don't golf. I said, those 60 days, that's my golf game.
Yeah.
And going up there once a week, that's my 4-hour round a week.
Yeah.
You know, that's just what I love to do. I love coming up here and introducing my son to it. He loves it. And it's
How old is he?
He's 5.
Okay.
He's 5, and he ate up with it. Blows the duck. Not shooting yet, but he loves it. And I think his little sister wants to come hunting too.
Yeah.
She's now kind of realizing I don't want to be left at home, you know.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of kids, we need to get a good picture of your son sometimes. Make sure you send me one.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get it on the show. But each and every week we do some pictures of the week, and we encourage our viewers to send in your pictures. Most of the time people send in pictures of their kids, and we enjoy that.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, you are welcome to send in your own pictures, and we will try our best to get them on the show. We had a lot of deer pictures, but we're finally starting to get some duck hunting pictures in.
Kids are more fun to look at.
A lot of nice bucks coming in.
Yeah.
But we've got some kids that sent in this week, and so as you can see on your screen, we're going to pop up this picture of, we've got 2 little girls that went hunting this year.
That's great.
Last weekend on the youth hunt here in Arkansas, and Peyton Reinhardt and Mason Wood.
Yeah,
We've got a picture of them, as you could see, and got some mallards.
Yeah,
and,
look at that. Look at those 2 girls.
A mixed bag of
spoiled.
ducks. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're killing greenheads.
Yeah. They shoot better than Garrett.
Yeah.
We know Garrett's
Well, it
favorite.
would have been all these.
That's
These little
right.
spoonies, huh?
Starting them out.
Speaking of,
they're
we did
picky.
get a Spoonie pillow.
Yeah, I got my own pillow.
Sponsored by
How you like
Perfect
that?
Limit Outdoors.
Here we go, right here.
Put that a little closer to me.
That's right. So we appreciate Brett Reinhardt for sending in that picture of Peyton and Mason, and we appreciate getting those pictures. We got one more picture that was sent in by Mitch Hall, and that is of his son, Riggins Hall. He's 4 years old, and while Arkansas duck season was closed during the split, they went to Louisiana.
He went
Not
to
sure
your
what
neck
they
of the woods,
killed,
huh?
but you can see the picture up right now. He's in one of those what are those sleds?
Sled, yeah,
And he's
people
got
call 'em a jet
decoys.
sled.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
him riding in that. His dad, he's a big duck hunter.
We got
so-
a long walk. That's how I get my son out to the blind.
So
He
that's-
likes it. He thinks it's like a boat ride.
Yeah. So good job to Riggins. He's 4, and his dad Mitch sent that picture in. And so if you got pictures of your kids, even if they don't have something that they've killed, just like the one
They're
with
just
Riggins,
hunting.
they're just out in the outdoors.
Introduce them to hunting.
Yep.
You know,
Send
just
them
like
in
our
to
dads
us.
did with us.
That's
man.
right.
Yep. So we appreciate those pictures being sent in. We're gonna get a picture from Mr.
Oh, yeah,
Frierson
I
here
got
with his
some- I got
son
some
and have
good
on
ones
there
for
too.
sure.
So.
Yeah.
But make sure you send them in. Our email, you can send them over to our email or on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll do our best to get them on the show. And so before we get too far into the products, and I know we're going to talk even more about the farm because I think I love the product, but I think I love the farm. I'm just telling you, dude, I'm in love with this place.
I know it all goes hand in hand. The story of the farm was kind of it developed.
Yeah.
The DP.
Right.
And it's just it's a cool story. It really is. We'll go into more details, about how we started the farm and how we started working on it and kind of how the whole process went. And I think people really like that.
Yeah, I think you got a really good story and a really good product. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back from this commercial break, we're going to have Christian. We're going to get one of the DPs up here. He's going to tell us all about how it started, what it is, and he's going to break it down for us. So we'll be right back.
Well, we set out to create a rack because most racks are a little bit monolithic, a little bit lightweight, not really something that you can use all 4 seasons. We use it to duck hunt, deer hunt, worker food plots, go trail riding, take the family out. We really need a configurable, adaptable system that we can buy one product, configure it how we need it, and use it year round.
Welcome back. We're here at, is it Brushy Lake?
Brushy Lake.
Okay, I didn't know if you called it the Frierson Farm or Brushy Lake.
No,
I just want to make sure we get it right.
Brushy Lake, and when we were trying to pick a name for this place, we were looking, and if you look on the old map, there's that old cypress break.
Yeah.
It was called Brushy Lake, and so that's kind of how it got its name.
Well, that's where we're at. We're at Brushy Lake, home of Christian Frierson during the wintertime.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a good place to be.
But not only do you kill a bunch of ducks here, you created a product.
Right.
Because you needed to kill a bunch of ducks. And so just like any product, there was a problem that you saw, and you decided to solve it one day, and you are a lot better at welding and doing stuff than Garrett and I.
We would have never solved it.
I was not that good at welding. I just kind of had a welding kick. I actually built an entire duck blind on pontoons. I was all in on some welding.
You're better at welding than we are if you did that.
Did you ever hunt it?
Oh, it's here.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're definitely better than Garrett.
It's one of the spots I was telling you about.
Yeah, it never would have made its first hunt with Garrett.
I think I made one duck blind floating and it sunk.
Well,
the thing is we drug this blind into a spot we thought would float, and it's never floated because we floated so shallow.
There you go.
But,
Garrett built a blind one time and had to jump out of it and broke.
Yeah, broke
what'd
my
you
shoulder.
do? Broke his
trying to get
shoulder
out
or
of
something
because it was sinking.
Oh man!
But look, enough about us. We want to talk about your product, the designated puller. So why don't you just start? You tell us how it came about. You start off and tell us everything you want to know.
All right. So I started Perfect Limit Outdoors, and the product is the designated puller. It's an automatic jerk rig, and I created it. It'd be 7-8 years ago now, and it kind of started with this farm. We were starting to have a little bit more success in the woods. A lot of it was traffic hunting. Ducks weren't really using the woods. And so we would be out there for long mornings. You're hunting till noon. Those are long days, especially standing next to a tree and yanking on a jerk rig all morning. You're always yelling at your buddies saying, "Hey, Garrett, hey, Brian, pull on that jerk rig." And everybody's, and they're just tired. You're losing focus. You're not seeing ducks, but you're all waiting or dreaming about that one group of mallards that's just going to show up.
Catch you by surprise.
They're going to show up at 11:30 when the sun's shining. That's what everybody dreams about. And like you said, like you talked about, I was on a welding kick, and I went back to my shop, and I said, I'm going to build something. I looked on the market, couldn't find anything. I've tried all of the other, different motion products, and they kind of didn't seem to work for us, whether it was in thick vegetation. So we all knew that the old faithful jerk rig works.
Mm-hmm.
It's worked for hundreds of years.
Right.
And so I was like, man, I've got to build something. And so I got my shop, and that's kind of how the DP was born. Actually the first product I built was this same design. Now I've made improvements to it, making it to where the pull arm's adjustable so you can adjust your pull length, different things like that. But the first one I built was with one of these motors. And I set it up in the bio at home when we were doing field work or something like that, and my dad drove by and was like, "What is that?" And I said, "It's an automatic jerk rig." And he was like, "That looks pretty cool." And so I built a couple mobile units because how we sled into our woods. You couldn't have a hardwired unit, and I had that one hardwired. And so I built racks and with old ammo cans, those metal ammo cans.
Yeah.
And I drilled holes in them and had it where the plug came out, and there was no switches. It was when you plugged it in, it was hot. And, we set them up the first hunt, and I think I had 3 of them going, and we had the mojos and everything. And ducks, we were getting ducks' attention, but they just weren't finishing. And that was about the time when the mojos, we were just talking about mojos, and we were just like, pick them up, put them out, pick them up, put them out. And we were just like, you know what, I built this product. Let's just see how these ducks react. Let's just see what they do. And we pulled the mojos up, and I've never put one out ever since. And, I could say part of the reason is because I want to just test my product and see how it did. But the other reason was we just saw better results. We saw ducks focusing on that motion, and I know a lot of guys nowadays are all talking about water motion.
Right.
Key water motion.
No doubt.
Well, this was 7 or 8 years ago when we started this, and buddies hunted with me that day, and I kept it a secret. It did not leave this farm, and guys were like, "Man, it works so well. You need to go get a patent on that." So, went home, went and got with a patent agent, went through that whole process, and he's like, "Man, I think we got something." And I did not release it until it was patent pending, until I felt comfortable. And I found a little weld shop north of town because I was bouncing back and forth. Well, do I go all in and buy a $1,500 welder and start welding these myself? I was like, I'm not that good at it. Or do I get a guy that does it for a living to build me? I think I started like 30 units or something like that, and just sold them to family and friends and used them personally. Well, man, people just loved them.
Yeah.
Just loved them. And so we expanded that. The guy originally was hand drilling with a drill press each individual hole on this product. I mean, it took a ton of time, and we kind of limped along that way for a couple years, but it just got so popular. And I had a friend who was the consultant that helped us on this place, Jody Pagan. He was good friends with Chuck up at Max.
Mm-hmm.
And when I made my first YouTube video, I sent it to Jody, and he immediately called me and said, I gotta have 4 of them. I gotta have 4. So I sent him some, and he was just like, "This is the greatest thing ever." And he goes, "I'll get you together with Chuck." So we called Chuck and kind of got together, and I went up there and saw Chuck at Max, and he immediately pulled it out of the box. He was like, "I want it." And I was like, "Okay, well, what do I need to do?" Because at the time, it was a solid pole in this massive box. He goes, "I just need it in a box so I can ship it." And I said, "Okay." So it kind of went back to the drawing board, and really the problem was the pole. So we made the pole break down and kind of started. We still were building the product and drilling holes. Well, we ended up finding a place in Atlanta that would plasma cut all the parts, and so we could just throw the parts in a jig, weld them together, and then I did all the assemble, paint, and packaging in my shop. And we went through that, but we just kept selling out. We just couldn't keep up with demand. And
good problem to have.
Good problem to have. When you don't have inventory to sell, we couldn't really market the product.
Right.
So still to this day, not a lot of people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of starting to get out there, but we have the inventory now, and everything's kind of going good, and that's kind of how it was created. And like we said before, the jerk rig works so well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But if you can have those decoys constantly moving like real ducks,
right,
that makes all the difference in the world.
Well, and when you and I first talked about the product, and you were just telling me about it, it's just like when Garrett and I in the past have used jerk rigs and everybody else. I mean, you're jerking on it when you're seeing ducks,
right?
But then when you're not seeing ducks, you're sitting there and you're drinking coffee and you're BSing around with your friends and all that. And then, but just like you and I talked about, once those ducks see your decoys and they're not moving, it's too late to start pulling on it then. Once they've already seen that still water and they know it's decoys, doesn't matter how many times you pull your jerk string then, they already know.
Right.
So you created this so you don't have that problem. They don't slip up on you.
Right, you don't have that problem. And that's a big question that I have with the product is guys that are running traditional jerk rigs. Well, you can only pull that jerk rig on the corners. You can only hit it here. You can only hit it there. Well, if you're pulling it by hand, I'd say so because, one, you don't want to be seen by the ducks.
Right.
And I get all that. But with this product, yes, we are running a traditional jerk rig. But when you can have it and it's automatic and it's constantly going, like real ducks are constantly moving, it's a game changer, and it looks very realistic. And it's one product creating motion throughout your entire decoy spread.
Yeah.
It does, it might take you 8 of the flappers and the splashers to create the motion that we're creating throughout your entire spread. And this motor is strong enough to pull multiple jerk rigs. You can run them in V patterns. The other morning I ran 3 jerk rigs, a spreader in the center, I mean, I had 16 decoys moving in my decoy spread.
Yeah.
Off one.
I mean, you really, you just can't make anything more realistic than that.
Right.
You know, and like you said, you're sitting there drinking coffee. Those ducks are seeing those decoys in those motion before you ever see them.
Right.
And it really, really, really makes a difference. And another thing, you know, when I built this product, and everybody's owned them, you know, you're buying decoys and all this kind of things that don't last. I wanted to build something for the duck hunter that was going to last and last seasons. I mean, I have guys I've sold products to 8 years ago that are still running the original motors and the original units. You know, sometimes moisture gets in these motors and things happen, but this is an all welded frame product. I mean, unless you run this thing over, it falls out of the back of your Ranger or your four-wheeler. I mean, the frame itself is going to last forever. You may have to replace the motor, but it's going to last. And that's another thing that I wanted to build in the industry, is something that's going to last. And I've sold a lot of these products. I mean, I've never had a complaint. I've never had one return. And people talk about me and my customer service, and that's what I want. When people call Perfect Limit Outdoors, they're talking to me. Yeah. It's just me. And that's just really important to me.
Yeah. And the product, you talked about being able to run multiple jerk rigs. You can't go out yourself and set up 3 different jerk rigs and have one person do that, you know? No. Then all of a sudden you got multiple people pulling and you got ducks seeing you. But when people think of, okay, well, you're just moving your arm, you know, or whatnot, and you're talking about people seeing you. Well, what's different with this product? Well, I mean, it's minimum movement. I mean, it barely moves.
Right. And you can hide it behind a small little tree or something.
And it's down water level. I mean, it's not sticking way up.
Right. Compared to some other systems, our system is all above the water. So we can run in any water depth. We can run in any vegetation, whether that's mud-rolled stubble in a rice field, you know, whether that's thick backwaters, you know, anything. You can use it in any place that you're going to kill ducks, anywhere. And that's another thing that I wanted to build, because when we originally designed it, we were hunting rice fields. And I'm setting these things up in the middle of rice fields. This is a Model 1 setup. I might put a little stubble or a little grass in between the strap and the box, but I've never seen a duck flare off the motion of this arm and this product. And I always try to tell people that it's because the ducks are focused on the motion and the decoys.
Right.
Yeah. And if they get so close that they're seeing this,
it's too late.
They're too late.
That's
and
too late.
They're too close.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, it really is a really good product. And I stand behind it because this product was built for me and my farm. And I always went into this business is, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. That's not why I got into this. I got into it to build a product for me and my farm. And, hey, if it helps out other duck hunters, that's great.
Just so happened other people wanted it.
Yeah, other people.
Everybody wanted
other
it.
people want it.
Yeah.
And, it just, you know, people think automatic jerk rig, it just really works.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great idea. And, you know, I don't know how many times, back to your point, that me and Brian have sat in the brush or wherever we were hunting, and we got our mojo out and we have that same conversation. Do we take it up? Do we leave it out? And then we're like, why don't we just put out an old jerk rig and just pull it? And we do that, and here they start coming in. So I think it's genius.
Oh, yeah. You know, look, we're duck hunters, and we know that some days it doesn't matter what's out there. You could have Coke bottles painted white and black sitting out there, and ducks are just piling in. But I always tell customers where my product comes in the best is on those days when they just need that little extra convincing to come in. Those days where they might just be a little bit skittish. Yeah. That this is what they're going to come in, they're going to focus on. And the setups for it are endless. You know, talking about running spreaders, running multiple jerk rigs. I mean, there's times late in the season where, you know, I might cross lines with 2 different units and don't have any steel decoys. Every decoy may be on a jerk line and just barely moving. You know, with the speed control now that's come standard on the Model 1, you can turn your speed up, you can turn it down. That, with the combination of adjusting your pull length and the tension of the jerk line, you can really get any action you desire. Yeah. And I mean, swimming motions. Some guys want that real aggressive motion.
Yeah. That feed. So let's get more into that. Before we talk about the speed, let's talk about and tell me the correct terminology for the front arm. What do you call it?
Pull arm.
The pull arm. So
arm,
let's talk about how that works and why you designed it that way.
Okay, so the pull arm, obviously, this is where you attach your jerk rig to the DP. Now, it was originally designed to use the style of jerk rig, that you would buy, whether that's a Rig'em Right, GHG, and it was made so you loop the string around the little welded bolt on the end. You loop it a few times and then tie a little slip knot.
Right.
So when you're done hunting, you just pull that slip knot and it falls off, right? Mm-hmm. And depending on how much line you put out, you just toss the excess in the water, or stick it behind the strap of the box.
Right.
Now, everybody pulls the jerk rig different. I mimicked this design to pull like an actual person. And if you ever do that motion, it's about 2 feet if you're really going to yank on it. So if you set this pull arm all the way down, it's going to be a 2-foot pull. If you set it all the way up, it's going to be 6-inch twitches. Mm-hmm. So anywhere in between there, it's all personal preference of how you like to have it set.
And what you mean by that for people that are watching is when you really pull on it, it makes those ducks look like they're feeding. I mean, when you pull on it, the nose dips real hard and the butts come up. And when you're talking about the small little twitches, they're just moving enough to give ripples on the water. They're just moving
tiny. Like if you just had your jerk rig and you were just pulling it just barely, just to get that little bitty motion.
Yep.
That's the difference. And, some guys like to put their arm all the way down and then they use that speed control to turn it down and get those long, soft pulls.
Mm-hmm. More of a swimming.
Right. And it's real important with our product that you have a strong bungee. A lot of these small jerk rigs that are out there now have real small bungees and the lines on them. They don't have that pullback. This motor has so much torque that you have to have a strong enough bungee that's going to pull it back if you really want to get that action like you see in our videos. Mm-hmm. And that's a big question that customers have. They'll call me and they go, why are my decoys not moving like yours in your video? And I ask them what kind of jerk rig you're running. And normally it's one that has a real, the bungee, and they're setting their tension so tight that there is no pullback. Mm-hmm. And so that it's real important. We're kind of teamed up with Lifetime, or Heyday Outdoors, Lifetime Decoys. And their jerk cord, we sell it as a combo kit on our website. It's an all-clip system when you use it. But what's real important about their jerk cord is the bungee. Yeah. It is strong and it's stout. And if you have a strong, stout bungee, what that allows, you don't have to set your tension so tight. Right. Your run time goes up.
Well, and that system that you have, that you're selling along with your product now, when you showed it to me, Garrett and I mean, and even back with my dad, of course, when we used to make our own, go get a whole ball of string, and you get a bungee cord like you'd have on your 4-wheeler, and you just make your own. But I'm not trying to sell them; they're not a sponsor of our show,
right? No.
But
it's the combination of the two.
But that's the best jerk rig that I've ever used. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter if you use it on the product or you use it by hand. It's well made. It's designed for when you take it out of the box and you unravel it. It's go time. Right. You don't have a bunch of mess.
100%.
It's the cord on it is.
It's coated.
I don't even know what it's coated. So I mean,
it's coated cable, and it's when I contacted Lifetime Decoys probably, it's probably been 4 or 5 years ago now, and I felt like I made a superior product. I felt like they made a superior product, and if you
together,
you pair them together, and that's how I push my customers. I sell them on my website, but I tell them, I said, look. And I market the DP. It'll work with any jerk rig because some people like their old homemade jerk rigs, and that's fine. I just say if a customer comes to me and they go, what jerk rig do I buy? I say the Heyday Outdoors Lifetime Decoy Jerk Cord, because there's so many benefits packed into using this jerk cord, not just the bungee, but instead of tying the DP or tying the string on the DP, it's an all-clip system, which makes it, set up super easy.
The two products just enhance each other.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
And with this system, since it's an all-clip system, that's how in my videos we're simply and easily connecting multiple lines. 3 lines on one unit.
Right.
I mean, that's just getting some awesome.
So something else we want to talk about is you've got 2 different models. Is that right?
Yes, we have 2 different models. So the original model, and there's some confusion that the function of both models is the exact same. It's the exact same. The only difference is that the Model 1 comes with a welded battery rack on it and a battery box with a speed controller. It sets on the unit, and this is our mobile unit. The strap will go over the top, and this is our mobile unit.
So we can hunt that one anywhere.
You can hunt this one anywhere. This is guys that might be sledding in. They're putting it in their boat. They're hunting different locations on a daily basis.
Right.
Well, I had a percentage of customers that were calling me saying, "Hey, I don't need the battery box. Can you make a product that's a little less expensive for us guys that may hook them up to an old decoy boss or something like that, or just straight to a carburetor, and they put their units out and they leave them out all season
With
long.
more of like somebody that hunts it out of a blind,
Right,
where they
correct.
could put a battery in their blind and leave it
out there.
Yeah.
and they don't
Yeah.
have to carry stuff in and out. Not
Right.
someone like us that's constantly
Right, yeah,
moving.
We're constantly moving. So as you can see, here's the difference between the two. See, the function and the arm and everything's the same. It just doesn't have the battery rack.
Right.
And it'll come with a plug. It'll come with a female plug and 2 split ends, so you can splice into and run your own wires.
Yeah.
And it's a really good product. And the motors are completely sealed, so you can leave them out in the weather. I mean, I have guys that leave them out all year long, and then at the end of the season, they'll pick them up. The only thing that the motor can't withstand is if a flood comes on the Mississippi River and you're like, oh,
It's
no, I left my
submerged.
DP out there. It goes underwater for 3 days. The motors,
Locked up.
it's possible it might make it, but I will say that the moters would probably have
You're
to be
not
replaced.
guaranteeing that.
You're not guaranteeing. No, I'm not going to guarantee that. But as far as leaving it out all season long, yes, it works really, really well. These motors have been really, really good, and they have a lot of torque.
Yeah. And so on this model here, which is the one that Garrett and I are using this year, I mean, it's got, I mean, you take your battery box on and off, your battery sits inside of it.
Yes, the battery fits inside, and there's 3 different battery options. I'm really pushing all my customers to the lithium technology. There's a couple different brands. There's Dakota Lithium, there's Amped Outdoors. Those are 2 really good brands that make some options that fit in the battery box. And really, we're getting some really, really long run times, and that's allowing us to push the limit on as far as like how many decoys we can put on our line, how many jerk rigs, how much tension, because, it's all, the more tension, the more decoys you have on your line, that's going to really dictate how long your run time is going to be. Because it's a lot of pull. But with this lithium technology, I mean, we're getting long run times. No, the run time is not an issue anymore with lithium.
Yeah.
And you've also, so you've got, this is one of the bases, right?
Yeah.
So you've got that.
Here's the standard pole. It's a standard four foot pole, and this comes with every DP. It comes standard. We do make a timber strap option, and that's a really nice add-on for $20. That's so you can strap the DP to a tree. It's really nice, and it compact. You could take the timber strap and the DP and fit it in a little bag.
Yeah.
Normally when I hunt and how I travel with my DPs, my product and my pole always stay together. Just like so. Just
There
like
you go.
so. There we go. Had to get past that little cap. Anyway, mine stay together. And fully assembled, this is 12 pounds. Fully assembled Model 2 is 10 pounds. But see, I'd put this in my sled, or I'd carry this in one hand, and then I'd have my battery box in the other.
Yep.
So when you get out there, all you got to do is adjust the DP for your water depth, up
Right.
and down the anchor pole,
Right.
tighten it down. You want to set your pull arm and bolt. You'll set it just above the water. And then you'll take your battery box and you'll put it on, you'll plug it up, and it's got an on-off switch.
And people at home, I hope they can see.
Yeah, I hope they can see.
Well, I mean, but I want them to understand how easy this is. Like, I mean, you adjust those two things. You take that battery box and you stick it on top. All you do is take that cord there, plug it into your battery box.
Oh, it's super
and
simple.
then you just flip the on switch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's it.
It's super simple.
You're not spending an hour out there.
It's a bullet style plug. It's all sealed. Your speed controller's on the back, your on-off switch. When you set it up, you want your speed control all the way turned up, full power, and then you always set your tension how you want it. And then what you'll do is that you'll throttle that speed back if you really want to get that popping motion out of your decoys. You know, if you want more of a swim-like motion.
Right. But it's easy assembled. It's, like you said, 12 pounds. You're not carrying a whole lot out there. But, I mean, it's a product that really works. I mean, and now that with the Heyday jerk rig that you've got, with the clips, man, it's just getting easier and easier.
Oh, it's getting easier and easier. I mean,
the clips are so easy.
Right. People will comment and they'll say, "Oh, that must take, the 3 hours to set it up." No, that's not the case at all.
No.
It sets up as quick as you set up a normal jerk rig. And this all clip system works so well because normally the kit comes with 6 decoy drops. I'll take one of those and put it on my DP, put it on my arm, and it never comes off.
Yeah.
It just stays like that. Because then when you put your jerk rig out, it's got swivels every 10 feet to clip into, depending on how much line you put out.
Yep.
Say you put out 60 foot, you'll grab that closest swivel, you'll clip into the small clip. You may have to go adjust your tension a little bit in your spread, but then you're ready to go. Simple.
And that I know that we're talking a lot about it, but it's so simple when you can have this ready. You take your jerk rig out, you hook your decoys up, and then you just unravel it all the way back, and then you just take it, and when you get back to the DP, you just hook it, drop it right there beside it.
That's
it.
The excess jerk rig, you just toss it aside. And, I built this product because we move locations every day. I didn't build something that was going to be this big setup,
Right.
That, man, you set it up once for the season and that's it. No,
we got enough stuff to deal with as duck hunters already, right?
I built this thing to be mobile.
Yeah.
The Model 2, the hardwired version, was built out of guys that were calling and asking. This was built to be a mobile product.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
It's a product that Brian and I are getting to use this year, and we've already had some good hunts over and hopefully help us kill some more ducks. But the people need to know where they get them. So can you tell people where they can get them?
There's a couple different options. You can buy direct at perfectlimoutdoors.com.
We always do suggest you go straight direct.
Straight direct, yeah. And then we've got good retailers. We've got Max Prairie Wings, America's premier outfitter. They sell a lot of product.
Yeah.
And then I've got a small store up in Dyersburg, Cypress Creek. They're a really good store. And, you can check us out, social media, Perfect Limit Outdoors, or on Instagram, Facebook. And I've got a lot of videos showing the product.
Soon to be TikTok, though, from what I hear.
No.
Because you love social media, right?
That is one thing I will not do. I will not TikTok.
Never say never. Never say never.
I'm sorry, guys. I mean,
you can do a little dance in front of it or something for us. If
someone else wants to set that up, they can do it. But I'm tapped out. The Instagram stuff, that's good for me.
So will you sell this product in Texarkana? I mean, can we put it? Can we get it in a store in Texarkana?
I mean,
there's a lot of people from around this area that are going to be watching. They want to get their hands on one. Of course, they can order through you, but I mean,
they can order.
Are you open to that?
I mean, if there's a store out there, look, I'll put it this way: I am. If a store contacts me and they want to carry the designated puller, I'm 100% for it. I'll send them the buyer's terms. If they agree to it, I'm 100% in. I am just not actively pursuing stores. Yeah. It's just because, the way things are going nowadays, direct sales are good. But no, I will never turn down a retailer that wants my product. I never will.
Well, I'm just messing with you anyways.
No,
we want people to
know if there's a retailer out there that, my email is perfectlimoutdoors@gmail.com. Shoot me an email and we'll talk about it. We can talk on the phone. No, we will definitely.
Well, maybe we can get you hooked up with some people. Maybe we'll see DPs everywhere.
What's the address of the insurance place?
Sell them out of the front of the insurance agency.
I got a sign. We'll put a sign.
We can. I'll send you my buyer's agreement or seller's agreement, whatever it is. This is Brian Bolt, host of Live from the Blind. We want to give a big shout out to Lyle Real Estate, our studio sponsor for season 1. Go over and check out all of their land and real estate properties at lylerealestate.com.
Hey guys, Clint Park here, Lafayette County Game Warden. This week's tip is going to be about duck hunting and the bag limit. The bag limit is going to be 6 for each person that is hunting. Make sure it's four mallards, 2 wood ducks, or 2 gadwall, or however you want to do it. Just make sure y'all are not killing over the limit of wood ducks, so that is 3. The mallard limit is going to be either 4 greenheads, or you can have 2 greenheads and 2 hens, but make sure it's no more than 2 hens in that limit, in that bag. Guys, second split just opened. Hopefully y'all are having a good season so far. We've got enough water now. Water's coming in, steadily getting rain. Guys, hopefully y'all are getting the youth out. Man, that's the next generation of this place. Get them out there, let them enjoy it, see what it's about. Y'all have a good one.
And I mean, you don't live here, but I mean, you do 60 days of the year, and you're up here all the time. But I mean, you've been here for a long time, so this is a local product.
I don't see Shreveport
This is a
Bossiers
local
that far
product.
away either.
13 years in my local now.
Yeah,
This is a local product. I mean, come on.
It is.
It
There's guys around here that have bought it and not even known that I was here or this is where we were, because they see Shreveport, but they don't really know.
It's a Lafayette County duck hunting product. That's what.
Are you saying in downtown Louisville? There's
it was born here.
Homegirls over in Garland,
Homegirls,
that's in Miller County, but I mean we're close.
Yeah, you got to give them a shout out there. You got everything you need up here.
So you may be able to buy this product at Tim's in Louisville for too long.
Tim's or Possum Bob's. Give us a call.
He'll hook you up.
Right there on Main Street.
That's
I drive past it, heading to Burgess. That's right.
That's it. But no, we're just kidding. But no, we love the product. Go over to. Give everybody what your Facebook and Instagram are again.
Okay, they're both Perfect Limit Outdoors.
Okay.
Perfect Limit Outdoors. That's Instagram and Facebook. The website's perfectlimitoutdoors.com.
And you can also go to our pages. We've got links and stuff and videos and stuff on there. Yeah,
they got links on the blind. And the product it really sells itself when people can hold it in their hands.
Yep.
You can hold it in your hands and you can see how well built it is. Mm-hmm. That's what sells people.
But give us the prices of what they are.
Okay, so we got the 2 different models. You've got Model 1 that comes with the battery box. Now, a battery is not included.
Right.
Battery is not included. So what you're getting is you're getting a box that's pre-wired. Model 1 now comes standard with a speed control. It comes standard. To get this whole setup with the pole, $419.99.
Yep.
$419.99.
But when you say that price, I don't want some people to get scared off, because you think of all these other things that you're buying that you're taking out.
Right.
You're spending 89,
Those things don't last like this product.
89 to 99 to 109 on your flippers and your spinners and all these other things that they don't last.
You only need one of these.
Or just like Garrett and I have been through all of these products, to where, like we talked about earlier, you're putting them in, you're taking them out. You're putting them out, you're taking them up. This is something that you're not going to run into that issue.
Right. So this product, yes, does it fall in the category of a high-dollar product? Yes, it does. But the motion and everything that it creates, how solid that it's built.
Right.
You
could have built it cheaper and sold it cheaper.
I'm completely honest with my customers. I am. I'm building it and selling it as cheap as I can possibly can. I mean, the product just 4 or 5 years ago was a $300 product.
Yeah.
It's, everybody knows with economies and everything that's going on, I'm selling it as cheap as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, you could add up 2 or 3 or 4 motion, ducks, the decoy ducks that you put out. I mean, you're going to be over that $400 range.
Yeah.
Because with this product, you buy this product, you're going to have to purchase a battery, but then you may have your own jerk rig, but you already got the decoys, and it's something that's just going to last.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have any issues or problems, when you call the phone number, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
And that's very important to me. Customer service is number one. I take care of any issues. I answer any questions. I'm trying to upload more videos online, just people sending in messages saying, well, how do you hook your jerk cord up to the DP? What's the difference between Model 1 and Model 2? Just, will it work with a spreader? All those simple questions. Yeah. I'm going to start uploading small videos. And hopefully here on the blind, I know guys don't have the close-up, but hopefully they can see, and then they can go to all of our other pages and kind of get more in detail close-up videos and get reviews. There's also some good reviews on the website too.
Yeah. And we've got some plans of doing some videos as well and putting out on our page for
show people how it works.
But
I mean,
we wanted to make sure we really knew how to use it real well before we start trying to do a video with it. But
I will tell people,
but we love it, and it's easier than we thought.
That's right. And I tell people, look, it is a learning curve. Don't think you're just going to walk out there the first morning and just have it all figured out. It's going to take you a couple hunts, and you got to be patient. Setting your tension, figuring out where you like your pull arm set.
Right.
To me, it's easy because it's my product and I've been using it from the get-go. But I have to look at it from a person's eyes that have not used the product, and you kind of have to take a step back and be like, okay, well, setting the tension can be kind of confusing. Those are just things that you've got to be patient with, because once you get it set and once you figure it out, there is no product better, and there's no motion better. There's no lifelike motion out there better.
Yeah. And your motto is make the water move.
That's right. Hashtag make
the water move.
That's right. And
I started that 7 years ago, and it's kind of funny. 7 years ago, I think guys were kind of in with the water motion game, but I think people still really believed in, all the spinning wings and different things. But now it's almost like that's what everybody talks about.
Well, it's almost like ducks have adapted to that, right?
100%. And it's kind of, I always kind of say this, and I've heard this from a good friend of mine, that Mojo's just let the ducks know when you're hunting, because they're not there when you're not hunting. And I kind of thought about that, and I was kind of like, that's a good point. And I'm not knocking a Mojo, because on some days they work.
Situation, they're still good.
Take a Mojo in the combination with this water motion, you're going to have an awesome spread, especially if you're hunting in an area where you hunt traffic ducks and you're barking at them, you're trying to break high ducks. But if you're on a farm, kind of like my farm, that when your ducks get down here, those are your ducks, and you've got to take care of them, and you've just got to know that they're gonna figure you out, and that's why you always have to be moving. And when we're hunting, we're trying to put out the most realistic decoy spread. Watch them. How are they sitting? They sitting in pairs, sitting in threes, or they clumped together. Try to mimic exactly what they're doing. Yeah. And then good realistic calling is really important. And you put those two things together, and you're going to be successful. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we took your hashtag, whether you know or not, and your episode tonight is named "Make the Water Move." So,
make the water move.
Episode 5, cool. Make the water move. That's so, cool. Yeah, we kind of stole it from you, but we didn't put the hashtag, so we thought it wasn't really stealing.
No, that's cool. No,
it's your episode, so it fits.
I guess so. Yeah. But I know I'm loving this, because just sitting down and talking with you guys about the product, people are really going to enjoy that.
Yeah, I think so. And so, look, we're going to take a short break. We're going to get us a beverage.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk Arkansas duck hunting. We're going to talk some of.
Yeah, let's talk
about
strategy.
The teal deal a little bit.
We'll talk about the teal deal. We'll talk about strategy.
That's it.
We'll talk about everything duck hunting. It's going to be fun.
So y'all take a little break with us. Look at some of these commercials from our sponsor. You'll see a designated puller, Perfect Limit Outdoors commercial here in just a second, and then we'll be right back with Christian Frierson right here on episode 5.
Okay, alright.
Welcome back, episode 5. We have got Christian Frierson with us, and we are in his beautiful lodge. We've been sitting here the whole night just talking about how beautiful it is. And
place.
we've shot him a couple prices, and he's shot us down multiple times. And we thought
we're gonna get the blind crew here on a hunt. That's what we're gonna do.
I'm down for it. Speaking of hunts, let's talk about the teal deal. Can we put that name out there?
Yeah, the teal deal. Well, the teal deal, I would say my buddies of the Daybreak Outdoors crew, Brandon started the whole teal deal.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, we could have, they come down and film, once a year.
Yeah.
And this was probably 3 years ago, man. We had a whole bunch of teal, and Brandon talked about it in the episode. He was like, man, we could have shot our 48 teal, but, Christian wasn't having it. He wanted to shoot his mallards. And so, I called you up because, I was like, we're going all in on the teal deal. I knew we had a bunch of teal in our woods, and I said, we're going all in on the teal deal. And I called Brian, and I said, can you get over here? Because I think, what was it, a Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
And you had told me.
Only an insurance agent gets to hunt on a Tuesday.
Or a
farmer.
Or a farmer.
Yeah. But he told me, I don't know if we were texting over the weekend, and he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to work on Monday, but then I'll probably just hunt the rest of the week. It just came to my mind. We were all sitting up here, and I was looking for another shooter, like Arrow was joking. You remember on the Hangover? Yeah. He's like, I'll be your Doug.
That's right.
That was Brian.
That's right.
He was our Doug. He was like, I'll be your Doug.
He's happy to be that.
But the teal deal.
He said he made the comment when we were here. He said something about his brother-in-law or somebody, wasn't coming, and I just said, hell, anytime he doesn't show up, I'm just a phone call away.
Brian said, he goes, I'll be your brother-in-law.
Yeah, he'll shut the insurance agent down.
That's right.
He'll be shut down for the day.
No, it was funny. So the teal deal, I knew we had a bunch of teal, hanging out in the woods, which is kind of rare. I mean, they'll come in there, but actually, going and living in there during the day, I knew it was going to be. So we went to a tight hole. And I'm going to tell you now, it was a show.
Yes, it was.
It was, I'm talking wads. We were landing 100 packs on the water.
It was pretty cool.
And, there were a lot of times, what'd we say? There were 2 volleys you didn't shoot because it was strictly, it was chaos.
Yeah.
There was a couple times I didn't call the shot. I'm the shot caller for the group, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I was telling you, I saw videos of it, and I was like, trying to figure out, I was like, no, it's not mallards, and I'm just not used to seeing big groups of teal like that in a little hole in the timber. So it took me a minute to kind of figure. I was like, okay, this teal.
I just thought, I thought it was truly special. And, we were having trouble with those big groups. We were having trouble with the big groups because when they come in, it was dark in the hole early, and they'd fan out. And, it really takes one guy on a big group of teal to stand them up. But, they were just fanning out in the woods. It was crazy. But it wasn't until that last group we all put it together and figured it out. I called the shot, and I think when we got done picking up, we shot 11 with how many guns did we have? I think Arrow was filming.
Yeah.
So it was 6 guns.
Yeah.
So 6 guys dropped 11.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It was pretty good. Especially
fun.
little teal. It was pretty good.
It was pretty fun. And the mallards were beautiful there. We didn't just kill teal, but we killed. We killed other ducks.
We definitely could have hung around and shot more mallards for sure.
Yeah.
But I kind of knew, the weather was still kind of iffy. I would say for us down here, and maybe across the whole state, but weather has been the biggest factor. Yeah. Especially for guys that want to go hunt the woods. Sunshine. That's what you want. And open and split. The first 9 days for us, we only had 2 sunny days, and one of them was that Tuesday, and then one was the Sunday of opening weekend. But other than that, there was no sunny days.
Yeah.
That can make it tough, and it looks like second split is going to start that way, but hot.
Yeah.
Now, do you hunt? You have your timber, but you also have some rice fields. You were saying that y'all started farming rice here a few years ago.
Yeah, so we started farming rice. It's always been farmed in rice by the local farmer that kind of farmed everywhere, but they retired, and I kind of started growing a little duck rice, and so I kind of and talked to a local consultant, and I
think your dog's ready.
Yeah, I think I need to go get my dog out.
That's okay.
Hey guys, so in this tip of the week I wanted to talk about elbows and ways in which we can prevent elbow arthritis on down the line. A lot of times we concern ourselves more with hips, but really elbows are just as crucial. It's one of those spots in dogs that as they get older they tend to form arthritis in and have injury in that we oftentimes have a difficult time diagnosing exactly what it is. So one of the tips that I have whenever you take your dog out of the kennel, especially older dogs, is to pick them up instead of allowing them to jump off of the trailer. I think a lot of times that just that repeated concussive force on their elbow will generate arthritis as they get older. So if we can limit that, I think we'll be doing great, and I think you'll be helping things out on down the road. I think when I was little, I'd always go with my parents. We'd go to our local vet, who was Dr. Wadley in Searcy. In my mind, it just got a sense of respect anytime you went in there. And so naturally, as a little boy, I always wanted to be that person. And then as I realized I loved dogs, and then as I realized I loved duck hunting, mixing your passion essentially with what you do every day, it's just hard to beat. I started with regular dogs and cats and cattle and large animal too, but then I realized that I had a passion for duck dogs, and so why not make that what I spend the most time with, and what I specialize in. And so anytime you see something every day, every other room, you're bound to get much better. And so I tend to see just trends and things that are going on within the duck dog community and sporting dog community where I can excel a bit more than the everyday veterinarian, so it makes it that much better.
Welcome back. We're here with Christian Frierson. We took a dog break for just a second.
Guy. My dog was he was in the back room, and he just wanted to come out and be on the show.
That's the very first one of the season.
Yeah, first dog.
So I mean, we're breaking new ground here.
Oh man,
we're breaking new ground.
That's funny.
Before we did all of that, we were getting to talk a little bit more about the farm. So you've got, right out the back door, you've got a beautiful field out there that's full of ducks right now, by the way.
Yeah, full of ducks, and it's traditionally been a little rest area. It's rice that I planted and harvested, and we went in there and mud rolled it. We may hunt it this year. We may not. I mean, we really enjoy sitting on the front porch drinking beer and watching the ducks and hearing them quacking. That's really really enjoyable. That's the thing about this farm. I just love seeing the ducks. I don't have to kill them. Mm-hmm. I don't have to kill them. I'm happy if I go to the woods and we shoot 6 mallards. I'm happy with that. I just like to see them. I like that they're here. They're coming back every year, and that's really what's important to me.
Yeah.
So we've got that little bit of rice, and like I was telling you out on the front porch earlier about this farm, just on this small amount of acreage, we've got a really diverse habitat, and that's really important if you want to hold ducks all year long.
Yep.
It's funny when the ducks migrate down here. When they come down here, I always call them our Halloween ducks. You get that first push, you get a little cold snap, those calendar migrators, they're coming. And they really show up all together in a massive wad. And if you've got any water, if you got a little rice field flooded or something like that, you will have every species out there. You'll have mallards, you'll have teal, you'll have spoonies, you'll have gadwalls. And I've really noticed this year.
Did you see him perk up a little bit?
Man, the gadwalls are in high numbers right now.
Yeah.
They really are. Now, I feel like over the split, even though, we haven't had a massive front with it being cold up north, I feel like more mallards have showed up, which is it's a small niche area in southwest Arkansas, but it does hold a pretty good amount of mallard ducks, and I think they're here. I think. But we'll see if they stick around with the hot weather.
So Brian has tried really hard this season to try to establish that my favorite duck is a spoonie. That's why we were joking about I got my own pillow.
There's nothing wrong, man. There's history on this farm of shooting
he's-
full limits of
He's
spoonbills.
telling you right now there's nothing wrong with it.
We've got pictures I might send in to Brian, and we were proud of it. Proud of it, man. We went through so many years of not shooting ducks.
Yeah.
And you know what? I always tell people, you got to shoot the ducks that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all with the habitat. Like I said, early season, the fields will be loaded with every type of duck there is. But once they start getting shot at and their diets change, man, it's so fun to watch. The mallards seem to want to migrate to the woods because that's their habitat. The field ducks, your spoonies, your
Right.
teal, your pintails. Some mallards are out there too, but those are traditionally your field ducks.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have a place like a cypress brake that's got duckweed, coontail moss, that'll really be home to your gadwalls.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's just so fascinating to me is that when our ducks come down here, how they're all together, and then they kind of just go to their own habitats. It's really fascinating.
And that's what you were getting into a little bit more was here on this property.
Right.
You've
What's
got
here on this property, it's on the amount of acreage it is. It's only a 560-acre farm. Now, we're surrounded by a lot of ag. We're surrounded by another big club that's got timber. And there's up and down this little flyway, there's lots of habitat, but just on this small acreage, it's got a little bit of everything. I mean, it's got your green timber, it's got your traditional fields, it's got a cypress brake, and then it's kind of got what you would call like a scrub brush, willows, some old resurrected catfish ponds that we've kind of created this kind of, I'd call it WRP-ish, but it's a really interesting habitat that the ducks seem to really like later in the season. And having all that diverse habitat, strategically flooding, keeping fresh food for the ducks is really, really important.
Yeah.
And I think people are getting more, that's becoming more and more popular. And for us, it used to be, I bought this piece of property, I've invested all this money, I've put all this time in it, I got to go hunt. I got to go hunt, man. I got to go. I can't miss a day. I got to go. And we've stepped back from that to where now it's quality over quantity. It's hunting good weather days, providing the ducks rest area. That's real important. And it allows us to have success throughout the entire season. Now, we're going to have a slow day in here.
You're going to have more quality hunts.
You're going to have more quality hunts. If you pull back, you rest more, you provide rest area on your farm, you're going to hold a concentration of ducks. And when I mean rest area, you don't ever go look at it, you don't ever drive by it, you don't bumping them because bumping ducks, that's just like going out there and shooting.
Just put a camera.
That's right. No, I do. Hey, the cell cameras, the deer guys, they love the cell cameras, but I'm a huge fan of the cell cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, if we enter our woods, it's because we're hunting.
Well, and that's what I was going to get at. I was just messing with you about it, but you don't have to go out and do all that scouting and disturb the ducks.
Right.
You've got cameras. You showed me on your phone. I don't know how many you got, but you got a bunch of them, and you've got them in the holes. Probably every hole you have, even the ones you don't hunt, and you just keep an eye on them.
Right, and it's kind of, the cameras are good. They don't tell you the whole picture. I've learned that. It's just a snapshot, and it's just one little spot in the woods. Now, what they can tell you is you do have to have them strategically placed, but kind of sometimes what they can tell you is if I'm getting a few more pictures or hits in this area of the woods, then this must be the area kind of generally where the ducks are using. And if I'm not getting very many hits over here, then maybe there's not a lot of ducks in that area. So it's not like you're getting all these pictures, because these ducks, they're constantly swimming and moving around. So like I might get a picture of like 3 ducks swim by.
Right.
But then I can hit a real-time photo, and like the next photo there'll be like 1 or there won't be any. It's just one of those things you kind of have to learn. But they have become really useful, and I think the less amount of disturbance you can do on these waterfowl. I mean, it's crazy because, I've even seen it to where, like, we had an old pump jack well on this farm, and that well checker on a daily basis was coming in at the same time. And I was there on a few instances watching where that truck would just creep in, and those ducks wouldn't jump up at all. But right when someone cranked up that four-wheeler or a UTV buggy or anything like that hunters use, those ducks are getting up and they're gone. They just know. They know they're smart. They're learning the hunters.
Well, when you pulled in today, those ducks didn't get up out there. When I pulled in today, the ducks got
used
up.
to his truck.
Now everybody up here drives a Ford.
They're like family.
No,
They heard that GMC.
oh man, no, but it's just really, really important to when your ducks get down here to take care of them. And what I've noticed is that it still can happen, but we're seeing less of the nocturnal duck. What a lot of people are kind of seeing nowadays. It's the pressure that's making these ducks turn nocturnal.
Yeah.
And especially when they get in a certain area, we talk about, they really need the full moon to be able to navigate at night. No, once they get an area, they can navigate it and go wherever they want.
Well, I joked around about Garrett's favorite duck being a spoonie.
There's
It's
nothing
not.
wrong with that.
Listen, it's not real. Well, I mean, his favorite.
I will.
I like all of them.
His favorite
I
duck
just like
is
shooting
not.
ducks.
Ed Walls
Whatever it
out
is,
there,
I'm good
we
with.
will, we
It's not.
will rip into some rams.
It's not.
I'm good with all of it.
It's not. His favorite duck's not a spoonie. But we ask everybody that comes on the show that what's your favorite duck to kill, and Garrett's is a ringneck hen.
Here we
But
go.
what is your favorite duck to kill?
Man, my favorite duck to kill. I mean, I would say now. I love shooting greenheads. I do. That teal hunt in the woods was something special. It really was. And shooting a bull sprigs is nice.
It's pretty special, isn't
We
it?
don't. Since we're majority timber hunting now, we really don't shoot a lot of them.
Yeah.
I can remember one hunt on this farm that this is kind of a little story about where I got the name Perfect Limit from, because we'll put a comment out there sometimes, what's your perfect limit? Well, my perfect limit was 4 greenheads and 2 sprigs before it went to 1. That was the perfect limit. And we had a year where we just had a ton of ducks, and the goal was to go out there and shoot a perfect limit, and we did it.
And you did. And there's a picture in the hallway.
We did it. We did it a couple times. So now when I'm scouting and I'm in here and I'm telling guys like, hey, we're going to go for the perfect limit, they're kind of like, are you for real? And I'm like, yeah, I think we should. Like, I really think we should.
It's a pretty sweet picture.
It's cool, but everybody's perfect limit's different.
Yeah.
And to me, it's kind of just shooting, if you could ever pull off the one drake of each species, let's just say you shot a greenhead, a widgeon, a teal. I mean, it would be really, really cool. But the perfect limit, that's kind of where I got the name from. And so kind of the goal, I guess, would be to go out and shoot the perfect limit. But yeah, mallard ducks in the woods. I mean, not a lot of people get to do it, but it's really special when it all comes together.
Yeah. Well, man, look, Christian, we appreciate you for coming on with us. We appreciate you for talking about your product. Appreciate you for having us in your lodge.
Oh yeah, man.
We
Sponsoring
appreciate
the show,
the
helping be a
hospitality.
sponsor.
Yep. We appreciate.
Anytime.
We
Man.
appreciate
It's been
you,
fun.
and we love using your product. It's a great product. I hope people watch the show and they really go out and look at it. Go buy one. I mean, I think if you would just try one, ask for it for Christmas. He's got inventory, right?
Right now, man,
It's perfect time.
Right now is the Christmas push, man. It's and the seasons are just opening up across the country. Arkansas is just starting, going to get into the thick of it. Missouri, Tennessee. I mean, the time is now, guys.
The time is now.
It is now.
Yep.
And
If you want to kill that perfect limit,
You need a designated
This is the perfect
puller.
time.
This was the tool.
That's right.
I can't say it wasn't because of that.
Yeah.
That's right.
well, man, we sure do appreciate it. I appreciate, the friendship and the camaraderie. I mean, just shooting texts back and forth, talking about this place and getting to come out and see it. It's been an awesome experience, and we really appreciate you being a part of the show, doing a show with us, and we hope to continue the friendship for long time to come. But make sure you go over to perfectlimitoutdoors.com. Is that right?
Perfectlimitoutdoors.com.
And go over and check out one. Put it on your Christmas list. He's still got plenty in stock.
Right now we do. I
Yep.
can tell you in years past
not
we've
gonna
sold
last
out.
long.
So you better get one right now.
You better get on it.
Yeah. Go over and follow them on social media as well. Perfect Limit Outdoors all across social media. Well, Instagram and Facebook.
Not
the only
TikTok.
ones that matter.
Not TikTok.
The only ones that matter.
Go check out my buddies Daybreak Outdoors. They got the good videos. They got the TikTok.
Daybreak Outdoors does have the good video.
That's good. Brandon's best in the business.
He's awesome, man.
No doubt.
He is awesome. I
Good
hope we get a chance when he comes down here
Yeah,
maybe
good
to
friend.
talk with him and stuff like that. But those guys are awesome as well.
You want to talk about us working hard? They work hard.
Yeah.
They
and then
work hard.
and then your buddy that does the photos as well.
Yeah, Austin Ross. Give him a shout out.
Yep.
Man, he's one of my best friends, and I give him a lot of credit for where our page is because all the stuff on there is his content. And I mean, he has really grown. I mean, he's one of the best photographers out there.
Awesome photographer.
Yeah, go follow
he's got
him.
some
Austin
awesome
Ross
pictures.
Photos.
Yep.
And awesome stuff. And he's getting into the filming, so just watch out. It's really good stuff.
Yep. He does really good stuff. A really good guy too. So you're just surrounded by good guys.
Blessed.
At least right now.
Blessed with a good family,
That's
good
right.
kids, good
That's right.
wife that puts up with me.
That's it.
Laura, you're out
and the
there.
hunting. She puts up with you and the hunting.
Yes, she does. She does. She knows it's my thing. But yeah, Laura, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Well, we appreciate you coming on here. Again, perfectlimitoutdoors.com. Go get your designated pooler today and get ready for the rest of the season. We're only 1 week in. We got a lot of season left to go.
That's
Get
right.
it on your Christmas list. Go follow on all social media as well as go and like the blind and follow the blind all across all of our social media. And get those pictures sent in for our next episode. Send in pictures
Get
of
the
your
pictures in of the kids. Send them in.
the kids. We will take pictures of you as well if you want to send in some pictures. But we do like to see the kids out there. And so,
What's one more thing?
what you got?
You got to go out with this. You say, make the water move, guys.
That's right. That is right. We're going to let you finish with that. But for episode 5, Christian Frierson, designated puller, Perfect Limit Outdoors, we're going to end that right here on the blind. And we appreciate Christian and his great product. And if you want to make the water move,
That's right, guys.
go and grab a
Appreciate it.
DP.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you in 2
Enjoyed it,
weeks.
Christian.
Thanks for watching this episode of Live from the Blind. A big thanks to all of our sponsors here on Season 1. Without you, none of this is possible. And a big shout out to Texarkana Game Day and Game Day Outdoors.